Hey guys, so I'm here to do a double review, kind of update review on two stories that I am following on both Patreon and DeviantArt.com. Both of them seem to be reaching the zenith, the climax, if you will, coin a phrase. And that, of course, is with Patreon. I'm talking about Trouble TRO's Agent Pink, Bedlam's Revenge 2, which I consider to be the epilogue to the previous story, which is the sequel to. And here we have the characters of Betty, known as Agent Pink, who is Trouble TRO's character, having some very risky, erotic intimacy time, if you will, with Mr. Internet Man's character, Demonica, aka Veronica. And from what Trouble TRO has told me, and I even asked him again about this after reading after reading and looking at the latest chapter, I asked him how many pages he was planning to make this, and he said around 200. So I did a little bit of calculating, and I found out, and I might be wrong, I might be somewhere in the vicinity, but he is at around 187 pages. Let's just say, if you want to round it out, about almost 190. So he's close to his mark, which means in the next couple of weeks he'll be closing up the story. In other words, the story will finally come to its zenith, to its climax, if you will. But what's interesting about this latest chapter is in the previous chapter, Demonica started to let her powers go crazy, if you will. In other words, as she told Betty, aka Agent Pink, she loves it when somebody allows her to, let her imagination and her powers run wild. In other words, she can, she loves it when somebody just lets her get loose, unlike, with some of her other partners, which you can read about in Mr. Internet Man's stories, webcomics on his DeviantArt page. And the last thing she says in the final page of part 16 is she wants to ooze all over Betty, aka Agent Pink's body. And Agent Pink replies that she could see that, but she hopes Demonica doesn't mind. And then that's when it ends. And you're wondering, okay, what's next, right? Well, apparently what happens next is, starting right off the bat here in this chapter, Betty, Agent Pink, surprises her by basically kind of going gooey herself, or at least elastic herself. She turns herself all red and everything. She basically melds her legs together into like a tail, very similar to what Demonica's doing. And this not only surprises Demonica, but it also pleases her, because Agent Pink compliments her for kind of being like an inspiration, because Demonica notices, oh, you've been practicing with your powers to see how far you can go. And that's exactly what Agent Pink says, that she's been wanting to test how far she can, extend her powers and everything. And then Demonica, liking the fact that she has somebody to keep up with her, says, let's go effing crazy. And Agent Pink says, that's all I want to hear, or that's what I've been waiting to hear from you. And they basically allow these tendrils, if you will, tendrils, if you will, to kind of extend into each other and into certain regions of Demonica and into the mouth of Betty, Agent Pink. And then they basically end it with Agent Pink and Demonica both kind of saying that, well, Agent Pink said this first, of acknowledging that, she doesn't know, that not only does she like this feeling, if you will, but also it's because of the fact that she doesn't know where she ends. And then Demonica kind of finishes that sentence for her by saying, oh, where I begin. And what that tells me right there is, not only are we going to get more loopiness, craziness, if you will, maybe some melty gooiness, if you will. But what that tells me, just by them having their faces close to each other as well, is we'll probably, and again, I could be wrong, we're probably going to get a fusion. Why do I think we're going to get a fusion? Well, just based off the last panel and everything, you can kind of tell that might be, not saying it is, might be the direction they go in, or Trouble TRO goes in for the final couple of chapters, if you will. Because I think, honestly, he's going to try to round it out to at least 20. So that means he's going to have like 3 more weeks. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how far he goes with it. But yeah, right now he's at 187, or at least around almost 190. And once again, I do recommend checking it out. It is interesting. It is fun. It is intriguing. If you're into that kind of stuff and everything. And to me, it's worth, $10 to $5 or $5 to $10 a month. So it's not that much. It doesn't really break the bank. Now, as far as Desi Arts goes, the former Jacqueline Dorr, aka Michelle on DeviantArt, in a Metamorphosed to Malleability series, she just dropped the recent chapter shift today called RV Having Fun. And it is, we'll put it this way, probably one of the more explicit ones she's done in a while. And I say that with all due respect, no offense. But basically, it continues off of the last one where Crystal steps into Briella, because Briella has, her powers have evolved to the point that now she can mimic vehicles. So basically, she's mimicking an RV. The only problem is not everything is functional like a real RV, like the stoves, like the stoves and the fridge and all that. She hasn't really been able to perfect that just yet, but I think we might be getting to that point in the future. Anyway, she does say that there is one area that she's kind of been able to work with or been able to operate, and that is the bathroom. And let's just say from there, the two have a very intimate shower, to the point that Crystal actually gets the chance and opportunity for the first time, I think ever, if not in a while, to be the dominant one in the moment, to the point that Briella is trying to keep her solidarity, or at least her avatar, she calls it, solidarity intact, until Crystal finally gets her to a certain moment where she tells her or whispers to her, "You can let go," and she literally does. She lets go. Her avatar melts down, sags into the bassinet of the shower, and then the whole RV that she is basically her starts to melt down as well into a puddle, which basically then transitions into a water-like substance and everything, and it just ends from there with Crystal acknowledging that if she can bring her fiance Briella to this limit, it definitely says something. But overall, both stories are actually pretty good, and this one, like I said, is the first time in a while that Desi Arts Michelle has been able to get a little bit more explicit with her stories. But I do recommend checking them both out, guys, and that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below, live chat, don't premiere where super chats are welcomed, and I am out.